Episode 7 drop. Your boy Deadstock is here. How y'all doing? Pleasure to be with you. I got a good one for y'all today, man. Listen, your boy's wildin'. I told y'all once, I tell you twice, and I'll keep telling you till you get the fucking memo. He ain't playing with y'all. We're gonna play this. We're gonna start the episode off with this first video right here. And we're gonna
President Trump doubling down on his calls for the federal government to, quote, get involved and nationalize elections, making it clear he wants a federal takeover.
If a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway.
The Constitution...
Bro. And that's what I was going to say before I started the video. We're going to walk through this even though it's only 3 minutes. And what you just heard or about to say there, the Constitution, yes, he's talking about why the federal government don't already do it. Because the Constitution prohibits it, nigga. Like, what do you... It just bothers me so much when he gets up here and repeatedly shows you how much he don't care about the Constitution. But yet, the people who support him swear up and down he does and he's about doing what's right and all that. It never ceases to amaze me, the idea that y'all thought out of all people, Donald Trump, was going to get up here and develop morals. And when his supporters don't even deny that he didn't care about morality beforehand, right? But now all of a sudden, after he becomes president, you think he's just going to do the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. It's insane. But no, yes. He's talking about the federal government taking over elections when implicitly that's why it's in the Constitution, why you can't do that. And you'll see how the dude points it out later in this video, is that it's easier to hack one election system than 50. That's the whole reason why you can't do. Like, bro, the United States is set up a specific way for a certain reason, right? And when he comes through and starts saying these things that directly goes against that, it's like, what more do you want from him? That's another thing that I'm going to be pointing out repeatedly in this ish, is that what more do you want from him? Like, he does everything to show you he don't care about rules, regulations, the Constitution, America. He cares about himself, but yet y'all still act like he don't. But yeah, he's now laying the groundwork to rig the 2028 election. He's now just, and again, not even doing a good job at hiding it. He's just being kind of out up front and outright with it. But yeah, he's starting it now, and that's why I had to start this episode with that. Like I said, but anyway, like I said, he's talking about the federal government and taking over elections.
Gives states the power to run elections, not the federal government.
And I'll just so y'all hear the part where she says the Constitution prohibits exactly what you're suggesting doing, my guy.
Doesn't do them anyway.
The Constitution gives states the power to run elections, not the federal government. Trump's remarks drawing backlash even from Republicans.
So many presidents have wanted to do that, and it still sounds like a bad idea to me. Anytime a political party in power wants to federalize elections, they should be prepared to have them federalized against them.
Senate Republican leader John Thune telling reporters he's not in favor of federalizing elections, saying it's harder to hack 50 election systems than it is to hack one. Democrats outraged.
What we're seeing is Donald Trump saying the quiet part out loud, that he wants totalitarian control over our election, and he refuses trust in the American people voting as they think is fair and right.
With the midterms approach.
And then that's the part. I always will acknowledge the level of respect that I have for the man for letting his nuts hang, right? The fact that you will just you will just say the quiet part out loud. He ain't trying to hide shit from you for real, because he ain't got to. You understand me? But it don't make it right though. Like, yeah, to me, but that's all this dude's trying to do. He's doing everything that is supposed to be kept secret right in front of your face and telling you what you're going to do about it. Yo, dumb, stupid, retarded ass is going to sit there on your platforms and on your YouTube channel like I'm doing right now and talk about it and whine and cry and bitch and moan and complain. But you ain't going to do nothing. You ain't going to stop me. What you going to do? Walk up to the White House, knock on the door and say, you can't do this? Like, what the shut up. But that's literally all that's happening right now.
approaching and Republicans rattled by recent losses, the president and Republican leaders are increasingly sowing distrust in the nation's elections. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson claiming yesterday without proof that there's been election fraud in California.
It looks on its face to be fraudulent. Can I prove that? No.
That shit, I hate that shit so much. You have no idea. Like I said, bro, y'all are willing to back any play that Trump runs, no matter how stupid it sounds. The fact that you'll actually stand there with a camera in your face and say, it looks fraudulent, but I can't prove it. Like, what? Bruh. Again, like, I understand people having feelings and doubts about this, that, or the third. But you being a government official, you know you can't. That's what I'm saying. There's a certain level of baseline knowledge and codes of conduct that we all know. And I'm not just saying we all know. Anybody who understands government law, XYZ, there's just certain things you do and don't do, right? If you as a government official ain't got no proof, then you shouldn't be speculating. That's just not what it's. We let the investigation play out. We do this, that, and the third till we come to a conclusion. Like, it's just for y'all to even be taking these level of leaps in defense of Trump when he says something is rigged or something was fraudulent, to back him up, y'all will just say the most stupidest shit. It's like, bro, that's the part that just bothers me. It bothers the fuck out of me.
The president insists without evidence that voting is rife with fraud and is pushing to tighten voting laws. He's taken executive action to impose major election changes, though a federal judge last week blocked provisions that require proof of citizenship to register to vote. And the Justice Department is now demanding at least 24 states, mostly Democratic run, turn over voter data. And Trump remains fixated on his 2020 defeat, especially in Georgia. Joe Biden won the state in 2020, a fact confirmed by a full statewide audit and a hand recount. Even if he had won Georgia, Trump still would have lost the election.
Now, I just want to pause right there, bro. Again, like I said earlier, what more do you want from him? Like, like the dude been saying it's 2026, right? This election he's talking about was 2020, 6 years later. He's still saying he won when 64 judges say he lost. And in Georgia specifically, the situation that they're talking about, there was a federal audit and a hand recount. They sat there and recounted those votes by hand and still said he lost. And he's not willing to say, what more do you want? He will continue to lie to y'all when every source available is telling you he's lying. And he's still, bro, I swear it bothers me to a certain level of degree because it's just like there's nothing more. There's literally nothing more he can do to show you he don't care about the truth. He cares about his truth. He cares about filling his narrative, whatever he wants to be, not even believes. Because the shit that he be saying, he don't even believe it. He don't even think he's telling it. Not even doing anything. He know he ain't telling the truth, but he don't care. He's that committed to, I don't even want to say being who he is, but being who he is. He knows that he has a certain level of power, which means he can say whatever and a certain level of people will believe it, right? So when he sits there and lies to you and tells you he won the election, is for one, he don't want to accept the fact that he lost. He has this thing with winning, right? But for him to even have the desire to keep telling it is because he knows that there's people who look at him a certain way and he can't risk them not looking at him in that light. So the people who think he's perfect, I don't know what is it? Your God. He knows there are certain people that look at him like he's the Most High, he's the Savior. So your Most High would never lose. Your Most High would never fail. He would never get defeated. So when he actually got defeated, he can't accept it. Again, it's not just him in particular, it's the people that follow him. But it might just be, and that might have even been a reach on my part, it might just be his ego. His ego in particular can't accept the fact they lost. Damn anybody else that believe him, he might just can't accept it. Again, I'm a real one. I'll admit, I think it's the latter. I don't even think he's thinking about y'all. I think it's just himself. His personal ego won't allow him to accept the fact that he lost. It's not even so much he's trying to convince his subjects that their ruler failed them. No, I don't even. It may be that partially, but the other hand, it may honestly be him not being able to accept it himself. The only reason why I didn't think it was that, because there was some, and I'm gonna find it, there was some newscaster that reported on the fact that somebody behind closed doors had a conversation with him and he acknowledged the fact that he lost. Like, but again, behind closed doors, that's what's it. Behind closed doors, it's kind of been reported that he admits and acknowledges that he lost, but in public, he won't. He won't do it in public, and that's why I say I feel like it. So it might be both. It might be partially his ego, partially him trying to placate to his supporters and his cult-like core fan base. You feel me?
It wasn't close. Biden won the popular vote by more than 7 million and took the Electoral College 306 to 232. Still, Trump directing the Justice Department to investigate his false claim that he won Georgia in that race.
Like I said, what more do you want, bro? You not only lost the popular vote by a lot, you lost the electoral vote by a lot. And you'll still send the feds to investigate. Investigate what? What are you sending them to do? You're sending them to waste time and waste money. That's what you're doing. Like, bro, it can be just as obvious as it wants to be, and y'all will still swear up and down that no, he was wronged. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's insane. It's insane.
One way or the other, the records are coming with us today.
New body camera footage obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution showing the moments FBI agents raided the election office in Fulton County, Georgia last week, seizing 700 boxes of ballots and voting records from the 2020 election. The Fulton County commissioner telling ABC Trump simply cannot accept the fact that he lost Georgia.
If they believe that Fulton County is a hotbed of fraud, why are they only looking at the 2020 election? Why not look at the 2024 election where he won? Why not look at the 2016 election where he won, right? Because he likes the outcome.
And it is just that obvious. That was the end of it. It is just that obvious, bruh. You ain't got no problem with the integrity of no elections except for when you lose. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now all of a sudden we need to look into this because it's just so unfathomable and unthinkable that you, the almighty Donald Trump, would lose an election, would lose anything. Like you don't lose anything, you win everything. Like, come on, bro. So, like, it can be just as obvious as it wants to be, and people will act like it isn't. Like, again, the man is. Okay, let's just get into the episode. Y'all about to upset me. Let's talk about ICE, right? 1 minute to 3:30. All right, let's just go and get into it. My computer about to die and shit.
The ICE crackdown in America is and fear. And if that sounds familiar, well, it should, because what's happening in Minneapolis could be a preview of what happens in Maine. We've already seen the video showing aggressive ICE tactics, and tonight we're learning about a new one. ICE officers are using sweeping new power to enter homes without a warrant from a judge.
Bro, see, and as you see, bro, this is what y'all can't be doing, right? That's why I had to start the episode off with this. This is not possible. Like, you again, violating every aspect and entity of the Constitution and not caring. Y'all know y'all can't do that, right? And again, that's the idea, because there may be an illegal immigrant in your home, and we have to. You're not walking up in my house just because you say you can, bruh. Like I said, now the idea is y'all gonna do that to the wrong person, and one of y'all is gonna get clapped, and the other ones that are behind that one is gonna clap the dude that did the initial clapping, but one of y'all are gonna die because Trump got y'all following orders y'all shouldn't be following. But that's where this is heading to. The day may come where motherfuckers is knocking on y'all door and telling y'all that they can come in just because they say they can. Like, they ain't got no warrant. No, like, that's the whole, again, these foundational aspects of America are just being thrown out the window at his behest, because he say so. Now all of a sudden motherfuckers don't need a warrant to walk up in your house. Come on, bro. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
The Associated Press has obtained an internal ICE memo that says that agents can enter a residence with only an administrative warrant if they're trying to arrest someone with a final order of removal. I can tell you right now, that's headed straight to a legal collision with the Fourth Amendment, because that treats the home as a protected space. I mean, literally, the word house is in the text. It says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation.
Now, again, that's directly from the fucking Constitution of the United States of America. What more do you want? Like, he can literally defy the most basic and fundamental aspects of this country, and people will still swear he's about law and order. Like,
Now, one of the few exceptions could be hot pursuit. Think textbook, that's a person commits a crime. They're seen running into their house for cover. The cops are chasing them, and they run into the house to get them, requiring some sort of what they call exigency. It's not normally used in a civil context like an administrative warrant. But here's the thing, that's the textbook classroom discussion. In the real world, it's already happening, apparently. Look at this video from Minneapolis earlier this month. You can see federal agents ramming through someone's door. The rifles are drawn. And the AP says the home belonged to a Liberian man. And agents forced their way in with only an administrative warrant. So if this memo is accurate, it's likely to further spike tensions between federal agents and anti-ICE protesters, especially when they have suggested that being near the target could sweep you into their dragnet as well. Would that now mean everyone in the house would not have the same Fourth Amendment protection? This is from Minneapolis Today. A witness says officers deployed some kind of green chemical agent. You can see them dragging someone across the snow. Here's another video from that same altercation, showing Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino throwing a canister into the crowd.
Gas on Bill! Gas on Bill! We're filming you! Gas on Bill, Bovino! Gas on Bill!
now, real quick, the fact that when they talked about them forcing their way into that building right here without with only an administrative warrant, again, what that means is a judge ain't approved that. A judge has not okayed you guys to run up in there like y'all are doing, like I'm watching you do with my not only 2 but fucking 4 eyes, nigga. You like, I don't, bro, it's so insane, right? Y'all cannot do that. All to capture a Liberian man. Y'all aren't even saying that he's a dangerous criminal. He's, again, the illegal alien, but the fact that he's in this country legally is the crime, right? Okay, cool. We're not going to go too deep into that because that's F shit in itself. But like I said, like we're watching here, a judge has not approved y'all to do what I'm watching y'all do right now. Y'all busting up in this mother because there's a Liberian man in there, right? Now, fast forward to this guy right here throwing gas, saying gas is coming. And he's the leader. Now, he just got taken off of the job recently. We'll get to that in a minute. But you see, he don't care about now. And the point I was gonna make about this too. One, he don't care. They don't. He said gas is coming. Y'all can get back or not. But I'm letting you know I'm about to throw this mug. But the people that are standing around, and what is the dude saying in response? He's saying gas is coming. Gas on Bill. Gas. I don't even quite know what that means. But these activists that be doing this stuff, right? Y'all aren't stupid, but y'all are kind of dumb. I'm not in favor of doing stuff that ain't gonna accomplish anything. Like, I'm abundantly aware that the Dan Bongino types or whoever, it's something, I forget it. Yes, I said it right. He don't care about which, and not only are y'all, not only does he not care, but y'all out there saying stuff that don't even really make sense, right? So it'd be different if you were out there protesting and saying valid points, but y'all are saying stuff that makes him kind of just want to throw gas at you. You know what I mean? Like, but I would never suggest you be this type of protester. I am vehemently against this type, and I'm happy y'all have the nerve to go out there and do something, but don't do this. Like, y'all, like, it's got to be a smarter way, right? Like, a lot of these protesters do be kind of looking silly in the long run of what they be trying to do and what they be doing. That's why I say, you know, but still, he don't need to sit here and throw gas when ain't nobody doing nothing worthy of getting gas thrown at them. You feel me? So that's the first one. And like I said, obvious reasons I had to start the episode off with that because, like I said, bro, he's sitting here talking about he's sending these dudes to run up into people's houses with no warrant. He know he can't do that. Like, what do we, like, you have to understand. Right now, I'm sitting on a porch of a house that has 1, 2, 3 Mexican families living right next door. 2 of them right across the street right here, the 3rd one right there, literally right next door, and many more in the surrounding area. And I fuck with them. I don't even want to mix. They're my niggas, right? It'd be a cold day in hell before you run up into my house looking for one of them. It's not. Come on, bro. What are we doing? You literally sitting here about to tell me that niggas with masks and guns can run up in my house just because they think one of my neighbors is in there. Suck my dick. Like you, again, like I said, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I ain't even about to get into there. Second thing we're going to get into today. Oh my goodness. It is insane that the idea has arisen. Not even the idea has risen, has come to fruition. That white people in America are getting shot in the face, getting gunned down in the street like dogs. Like, bro. And bro, okay, let's just, yeah, hold on, peep this.
There's still many questions, outstanding questions about what happened in the critical moments leading up to the killing of Renee Good during a confrontation with ICE officers last week. As additional videos of the shootings continue to surface, the New York Times is out with a very detailed new analysis, syncing up multiple videos from different angles, going frame by frame, and creating really the fullest video image picture of what transpired. Here's a portion of their analysis centering around the position of the officer in relation to Ms. Good's vehicle. This is from the New York Times.
The cell phone is focused squarely on Miss Good. She looks down, shifts into drive, and begins turning to the right, away from Jen. Cut to this high angle and zoom in. We can make out the agent's body and his arm filming. We can also see, at the same time, he's beginning to lift his other arm. On these cameras, we can see what's happening around Agent Ross. The other agent is yelling orders and reaching into Miss Good's SUV. Her front tire spins as she continues turning right. Agent Ross is at least a few feet away from Miss Good's SUV. He does not appear to move out of the way.
And I'm joined by now by one of the reporters.
Miss Good's SUV. He does not appear to move out of the way.
Okay, now, most of y'all know the situation, so I'm not going to relitigate the whole thing, but the point in contention was, did the nigga get hit or not? And what was she trying to hit him? I guess is in contention, but it really ain't. Bro, like the people on the other side, the right, are choosing to use that as a defense only to justify his actions. They don't really believe that she was trying to hit him. They know she was just trying to get away, right? Like she was there for. Kristi Noem sat there and said that she showed up and attacked him. She was sitting there for 4 minutes, so that's not true. But like I said, y'all are only using that one defense to try to justify that man's actions. Y'all know he was trying to get away. But the point that y'all may have some type of validity was, did she actually strike him with the car, right? Again, I'm not even willing to deny that if that were the case, maybe I could look at it a little, you know what I mean? But that ain't even the case. I don't even think that car hit. No, not even that. I know that car didn't hit that man, right? Because the fact is he walked away. The fact is he got out of the way, right? He didn't get run over. And the fact also is he was fine enough to approach the car afterwards and then tell people to call 911 after. He walked away, seeing that he just shot this bitch 3 times in the face, right? He goes to the hospital. They claim he has internal bleeding. They released him the same day. Ain't no way y'all just let a guy with internal bleeding of the torso out of the hospital in the same day. Those are all the reasons why I don't think he actually got hit, right? But if you were to play devil's advocate, that is the only thing that would kind of have me be a little bit more lenient with the, and even then, though, like I said, you still can't do that. But I would more sooner understand it if he actually got struck, right?
Joined by now by one of the reporters who worked on that video analysis from the New York Times, Devin Lum. Devin, so that video that we just saw, what is the significance to you in that?
Right, so what we're seeing in that video is the agent who eventually shoots Renee Good moving from his position near his own SUV in front of her vehicle as it's moving. So law enforcement agents are not instructed to do that. They're told the direct opposite.
Implicitly told the direct opposite. So the many lapses in judgment on his behalf is also why I say it was unjustified, because he broke so many laws. And the the angst, I don't know exactly what the word are, but the angst, whatever it is on the police officer to follow the rules more so than it is the civilian, because you're the one actually getting paid and trained to follow the rules, right? So whenever an interaction happens between cops and civilians, you always have to put the angst, I got to figure out what that word is. You always got to put the emphasis on the officer to follow the rules versus the civilian. Because, again, like I said, you're the one that's trained to follow the rules. You're the one getting paid to follow the rules. You're the one that has the liberty to kill me if you feel threatened. I don't have the liberty to kill you if I feel threatened. Like, you, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Because it places them in danger, like we see in this.
It also, I mean, what you're saying in the video is that she is turning the wheel almost like a 3-point turn.
Mm-hmm.
She had backed up, and now she's turning. Does it indicate in the video that she was... I mean, this is one of the questions. The president said that she ran over the officer. That's clearly didn't occur. Was she aiming for him? Was she trying to turn away?
Right. So we can see in the video, there's a split second where, the tires of her car are pointed towards the agent, but it's not because she's angling those tires at the agent. It's like you said, she's in the middle of completing a 3-point turn. So she was reversing with the wheel turned all the way to the left to flip the front of the car to the right, and was in the process of turning to the right. So if you play the video further, you can see those wheels are moving away from the agent.
There's also the question of, was the agent who killed Ms. Good, was he actually hit? That we've seen his cell phone camera video. There seems to be, jostling the camera, whether that's him, it smashing against the car, I'm not sure. Well, I want to show this other video that's part of your analysis.
This is also the moment many have said looks like Agent Ross getting run over. And it does when watched at full speed. But looking more closely, we can see in multiple angles that there's a visible gap between the vehicle and his legs, indicating his feet are positioned outside the SUV's path. The agent's left hand is still against the vehicle and gripping his phone. We see as he fires, it's recording the clouds and the trees overhead. It's not because the agent is knocked to the ground. The other angle shows he's still standing, continuing to maintain his grip on his phone and his gun, and we see a clear and growing gap between his body and the SUV as he fires a second shot.
Bro, and that's all I'm saying. Look at the man's feet. Look at where the man's feet is at.
He's still standing.
His feet all the way over there. The car is right here. Bro, that man didn't get hit by that car. That car did not strike that man. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm like, bro. But so that's the first one, right? That's the first person that done got gunned down in Philly because they're not complying with law enforcement directives and instructions, right? Philly. I said gunned down in Philly. Gunned down in Minneapolis, right? And the second one, minute to 3:50, all right? And full disclosure, right? I may have to make this video a two-parter because as y'all can see right there, I don't know if y'all can see in OBS. Y'all can't see in OBS, but my laptop is about to die. I'm on fucking 18%. I specifically put it on the charger to avoid that, but I had something else connected to the laptop, and I'm assuming that that's what happened. My phone was connected to the laptop, and the laptop was connected to the charger, and I'm assuming that the charger didn't charge it up as much as it would have because at the same time, the energy from the laptop is going to the phone anyway. I don't know why I took it. I also took a couple shots this morning, so forgive me, I'm a little tipsy. But like I said, if this ends up being a two-parter, that's fine. This will be my first two-parter because I'm on 18% right now. If I get to 10, probably, I'm a 10. I ain't even going to risk getting to 5. Once I get to 10%, 17 right now. Once I get to 10%, I'm going to just cut it and then pick back up wherever I left off. So we might just end it off. Actually, I'll try to get Preddy and Rodney. I'll try to get through these next two, and then we'll pick back up on Marderno, Greenland, and Epstein. That sounds good. All right, let's go. And then again, so this is Alex Preddy, dude who literally just had a cell phone. They show up to arrest a guy. It's not even a protest. They just hear the ICE shows up at a place in Minneapolis to arrest some guy. They start recording to make sure it all goes down right. And yes, they are verbally giving the ICE agents the business. One of the ICE agents pushes a lady down. He gets in the middle of the ICE agents. They pepper spray him, beat his ass to the ground, take his gun, and then shoot him, right? And this is going to be the breakdown video. And now they actually came out and tried to say that he was a domestic terrorist that attacked them. All that true. But this is them. Yeah, this is the breakdown.
Federal immigration officers fatally shot a man Saturday in Minneapolis. He was an ICU nurse who worked at a local veteran affairs hospital. Another controversial killing by U.S. immigration agents, and the second U.S. citizen killed this month. CNN analyzed cell phone footage from multiple angles. Taken together, they appear at odds with the Department of Homeland Security's initial claims about the lead-up to officers firing on Alex Preddy. Around 9 a.m. Central, video captures two people approaching a federal immigration officer in front of an unidentified vehicle. The sound of whistles is blaring in the background. Alex Preddy enters the frame here. He's filming an officer interacting with protesters and waving a car through. 15 seconds later, Preddy yells, in their statement, DHS said that an individual approached officers with, quote, a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. This video seems to show officers approaching Preddy instead of the other way around. We'll see later that Preddy does appear to have had a gun in his waistband, but this video shows he didn't have a gun in his hand, only a phone. Video from this white car shows an up-close angle of a federal immigration officer pushing one protester. Then, 3 seconds later, he pushes Preddy. And then, as the camera comes into focus, you see the same federal officer push a third protester with the orange backpack. Preddy raises his hand and turns away, just as the officer sprays him with a chemical irritant. You see Preddy and the other protester trying to help the person with the orange backpack. You can see here an officer pulling Preddy off of this person. 3 more officers.
Now again, the man couldn't have did anything more to not be a threat, to show you that he wasn't trying to harm anybody, right? Like literally, like I said, there's nothing more he could have done. And yet, y'all still beat his ass to the fucking ground. Like I said, but that's the crazy part. He put his hands up and y'all still beat him down. He was trying to help the lady and y'all still beat him down. Like, again, I say, what more do you want? See, that shit just kind of hurts my fucking feelings. And so, yeah.
Join, and then 2 more. Preddy is on the ground under them. One officer in a tan beanie can be seen repeatedly striking Preddy's head with a metal can.
Beating his ass, bro. Beating his ass to the ground after you done pepper sprayed the man. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? And again, the putting his hands up is so fucking significant because it's like, bruh, you, again, what more do you, again, he cannot do anything more to show you that he's not a threat. Bro, I'm sorry. I gotta stop checking this phone while I'm fucking. I gotta stop checking this phone while I'm live. I'm sorry. He couldn't have done anything more to show you that he wasn't trying to harm nobody or wasn't going to or wasn't a threat. Like, again, what, bro.
Officer in a gray jacket walk into the frame. There isn't a gun in his hand. Seconds later, officers shout. The officer removes the gun from Preddy's belt. The officer steps away from the scene carrying a firearm, seen here in his right hand. Then, gunfire. At least 10 shots rang out. We looked back at the scene from different angles and slowed down the footage. This officer, wearing a black beanie, can be seen drawing his firearm and pointing it in Preddy's direction. We can't see his gun when the first shot is fired, but we can see that this officer fired the second shot. In this angle, you see a second officer also had his gun drawn, and here, he's pointing his weapon at Preddy as we hear gunshots, though it isn't clear if he's the one firing.
What the f***? Did they f***ing kill that guy?
Preddy collapses onto the ground as the officers scatter backwards from around him. the same agent in the black beanie from earlier can be seen firing 5 final shots as Preddy lies there, motionless.
Shot the shit out of that man.
Nobody approached his body for 24 seconds. When officers do return to Preddy, they appear to begin searching his body. Video shows that about a minute after Preddy collapsed, immigration officers ask for medical support. When CNN asked DHS about the officer removing the gun before the shooting, DHS repeated their earlier statement, quote, "Officers attempted to disarm the suspect, but the armed suspect violently resisted."
Joining me now is Juliet Kayyem, CNN.
Now, obviously, y'all seen that ain't what happened, but that is the craziest part. That y'all gunned the man down, give him 9 shots while he on the ground like a dog, and leave him lying there for 30 seconds. And then after that, you'll walk up on him and run his pockets? Like, what the... Again, I would never go deny the gangsterness and the, like I said, bro, but these are government officials. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we really doing here? Like, bro, y'all gunned the man down like a dog, left him lying there, then ran his pockets. Like, bro. But, and then we leave off here and I'll come back with part 2. Y'all see what just happened, right? Now, the particular part that I want to compare it to is this right here. I want to show the part of them actually beating his ass real quick.
That this officer removes the gun from Preddy's in a gray jacket, walk into the frame. There isn't a gun in his hand. Seconds later, officers shout.
Now, just seeing these 6 guys on this one guy.
Preddy raises his hand and turns away, just as the officer sprays him with a chemical irritant.
So he gets sprayed,
you see
right?
Preddy and the other protester trying to help the person with the orange backpack. You can see here an officer pulling Preddy off of this person. 3 more officers join, and then 2 more. Preddy is on the ground under them. One officer in a tan beanie can be seen repeatedly striking Preddy's head with a metal can.
So again, they're beating this man's ass on the ground. 6 officers are beating this one guy's ass while he's on the ground, right? This is 2026 we're talking about, right? Does that not look similar to this right here? What is this back in? They don't even got the actual year. It's the 90s, though. I know it's the 90s.
Who had the
91.
camera? Where was the camera? Oh my.
March 3rd, 1990. So y'all just seen a guy getting beaten down on the ground by federal law enforcement in Minneapolis, 2026. 1991, March 3rd. Look at what's going on.
God, they caught this on camera.
It was one of the most disturbing things that we'd seen on video.
The videotaped beating of Rodney King had left many Los Angeles residents outraged.
It was like the first time we had actually seen it. So it was shocking, but at the same time, it was wonderful because now we Americans, we African Americans, we had evidence of our claims of, injustice and mistreatment.
The idea of watching that video originally, give me your reaction to when you saw the Rodney.
And you can pretty much imagine what everybody said, their reaction to: shock, horror, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. I had to play this because, again, history repeating itself. Only difference is they're doing it to not white people. But look, the Americans and the government and law enforcement treating civilians like they're less than human and just beating their asses in the street is nothing new. Only difference is they shot this nigga dead. They shot this nigga dead this time. But no, it's the exact same thing. Multiple officers just sitting there beating on this man on camera. We're watching it. Like anyway. But like I said, bro, let me go ahead and like I said, I'm on 12%. Let me go charge my ish up. I will be right back, and we're going to pick up right where we left off with Maduro. The dude that Trump just went and snatched, Maduro, president of fucking Venezuela. Again, insane. You run it up and snatching other people's presidents. This is how he did it, bro. Now, we starting off this episode with just immediate, this shit is about to catch your attention, right? He's using the top secret military weaponry, right? Now, there's a very good reason why he ran up in there, snatched dude, killed virtually his entire military protection team, and literally not one of our people lost their lives. 80-some one of their people, including his guards and some civilians, all died, and not one of our people died, right? There's a good reason why that happened, why we're considered the best military in the world, top 3, but still number 1, right? You know, we would have a problem with China and Russia, right? But also why that, oh shit, sorry, motherfuckers. See, that's why I need to get a studio, bro. When motherfuckers start pulling up, it just, you know, it throws me all off. But yeah, why that is though. This is about to peep this.
Did the U.S. military deploy a secret sonic weapon during the raid in Venezuela? According to witnesses on the ground, the operation began with an unexplained radar blackout, followed massive drone swarm and the sounds of helicopters. Despite being outnumbered 5-1, the small U.S. Special Forces team faced less resistance. Why? Reports indicate soldiers suffered from vertigo, vomiting, and internal bleeding. Military analysts believe this was a soft kill operation, likely utilizing a high-power microwave device. More detail all in the video ahead. Based on witness testimony, here's how the event likely occurred. Venezuelan soldiers were on standard guard duty when their radar systems suddenly shut down without warning. Immediately after the blackout, a massive drone swarm appeared over the facility, followed by 8 helicopters equipped with unidentified technology. A 20-man team of Delta and Special Forces operatives deployed from the helicopters. The encounter...
And now real quick, I just had to let you know, I've watched many of interviews of actual military dudes like Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, etc. And one of the questions that they asked the dude is, out of all those teams, which is the top dog? Which is the one special force that outrules all of them as far as an official one goes? Because you know they got all of the groups of people that ain't got no name, right? The ones that got an official name, he said unequivocally, these guys right here. If there's ever a situation in the government where you need to do exactly this, go snatch a president, these are the guys to call. And I've heard the dude say this like a couple years ago, actually. And it's this dude right here, actually. This dude right here, Nick Irving, he's an Army Ranger sniper. They asked him that question and he said multiple times, these are the guys for the job. So I just had to preface that by letting you know these are, I mean, you obviously knew they were legit, but if you needed any more of their credentials, that's it.
Took a mysterious turn when the defending force of 100 soldiers reportedly froze, leaving them unable to compete with a smaller elite team. Witnesses noted that the Delta Force operatives fired with impossible precision, estimating a rate of fire near 300 rounds per minute per soldier. It is theorized that Black Hawk helicopters were used to deploy this capability, utilizing disc-shaped radar attachments to launch a directed beam at the opposing troops. They reported internal trauma. They suffered immediate vestibular incapacitation, meaning a total loss of balance and paralysis. Some even reported bleeding from the nose and vomiting blood, symptoms consistent with internal hemorrhaging. While the Pentagon hasn't officially disclosed the specific hardware, military experts often call this a soft kill system. So how does it actually work? To understand the weapon, you first have to look at what it did. The most likely candidate for a weapon that creates that kind of internal pressure without external sound is a high-power microwave device. It relies on something called the Frey effect. The weapon, probably carried by a Chinook or a Black Hawk helicopter, fires a focused beam of pulsed microwave energy, not sound waves, that passes right through the skull. These beams are absorbed by the water in the brain tissue and the fluid in the inner ear. This energy causes a minuscule rapid heating of the tissue, less than 1 degree Celsius. But that tiny sudden expansion generates a pressure wave inside the skull. The consequence? The target hears a sound, clicks, buzzing, or a roar that originates inside their own head, bypassing the eardrums entirely. If the frequency is tuned to the resonance of the inner ear, it violently disrupts the body's balance, causing immediate vertigo. At higher power levels, that rapid tissue expansion can rupture capillaries, leading to the reported nosebleeds and internal trauma. There is another possibility, a weaponized infrasonic pulse emitter. Instead of a continuous beam, this device would fire high-intensity slugs of low-frequency air pressure below 20 Hz. These waves travel through the body and match the resonant frequency of internal organs like the stomach or lungs. High-intensity infrasound can actually cause cavitation, the formation of bubbles in bodily fluids. When those bubbles collapse, they create tiny shock waves that damage tissue. The target feels an intense vibration in their gut, leading to severe nausea and effectively paralyzing them with pain and sickness. Tactically, the reports suggest U.S. forces use this technology as the ultimate force multiplier. The result was that the hundreds of Venezuelan guards mentioned in the reports weren't fought in a traditional gun battle. They were incapacitated, sick, dizzy, and bleeding long before U.S. troops made contact.
Okay.
This allowed a small team of
Okay.
approximately 20 operators to walk virtually unopposed through a much larger force.
Okay, so and I'll pause it right there because I just seen what you said, right? And you see, they said 20 dudes, a very small team. That's why Delta Force is who they is, because they don't need a lot of people to get the job done. 20 dudes pretty much walk through a team of 80 guys because they got this type of stuff. Now, yeah, and yeah, I bet you didn't know that. Yeah, they again, bro. Like I said, and I was saying that before you came on the live, right? Part of why I like what Trump does is he reminds you how badass we are, right? But he does it so on Front Street that it's kind of alarming, right? Things like this happen all the time, but we don't know about them. Just like you said, you didn't know, nobody died. Again, you're not supposed to know, dude. Like, I mean, but like the why they wanted him is because Trump wants the oil over there. He literally is just stealing it so he can resell it for our benefit, and he not even made it clear. The reason why he can get away with stuff like this is because this dude himself is not a good guy, right? So I'll give him that. It's not like he's just going and snatching good people, right? The dude is believe it or not, I'll get it on, don't worry about it. The thing about it is 2020, right? And just side note, but you'll see where I'm going with this. The previous election when Joe Biden won and Trump lost, Trump swore up and down that he won, and he went as far as to try to manipulate the election or get other people to say the results weren't where they were so he could win, right? Which it didn't work. This guy Moderno, this guy that he just snatched, did exactly that, but succeeded. He did a bunch of stuff to cover up the loss and stay in power. So he's a bad guy. He works with certain organizations that are linked with terrorist groups. And part of the reason why Trump feels as though he has the right to just go snatch this guy's oil is because they are using it for the wrong reasons. So again, this is what I mean when I say he's playing politics, but he's doing it so piss poorly, because plenty of people in the government have done just that, found a minuscule reason to break or bend the law, but he just straight up break it. Like I said, it doesn't matter how bad Moderno is, you can't just go snatch him like that out of his bedroom, literally. Like you can't go kill 80 people to go get, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way, bruh. Like, and then lying to us and telling us it's about drugs. Like this whole thing, him going and doing just this is why he's been bombing boats for the past 8 months. It was the pretext to get into the door. Like, and but he was just doing it so obviously, because you're sitting here telling us it's about something that we know for a fact it couldn't be about. Like, again, first of all, everybody knows that fentanyl don't come from Venezuela, it comes from Mexico. That's the one thing about him having this beef with Mexico that is kind of legit. The facts are that the most dangerous drugs that do end up here come from there, right? So I'll give him that all day, right? But the first thing he did, and again, nobody disputes, you shut the border down and you did it thoroughly. He literally sent a bunch of guys like this, much less trained, obviously, but still heavily armed in tactical gear down to the border and said, ain't now or near you motherfuckers coming back over here. Over with. So he did that crystal clear. So for now, you to be a months and then a year in and you talking about you're trying to stop drugs from, bro, even if they were on their way here, how they gonna get in? You shut the border down. You know what I mean? So you sitting here telling us lies that ain't even fucking possible. Bro, no, okay. No. See, JB, okay, now, and I swear to God, that's why I say, and let me tell you, I'm about to start covering everything now. You see how I just do actual real world events. I'm about to start taking other pieces of content and stuff, and just so I can keep doing this more, start interviewing people. I'm about to start doing more interviews. I'm gonna interview you too, but the only reason why I had to point it out is because the fact that I'm sitting here explaining this to you. See, bro, Pete, I'm sitting here explaining this to you as simply as I am, and you're pointing out the blatantly obvious problems with what he's doing. Everybody on every newscast and commentary that I see covered says the exact same thing. What if another country does that? And it's literally a directly imminent thing with China and Russia. Well, Russia's Ukraine. That's literally what they've been trying to do. The only reason why they haven't taken Ukraine is because other countries are helping Ukraine fight off Russia. If other countries didn't care, it would have been just as easy for Russia to do to Ukraine and Zelensky what we just did to Venezuela. It would have been just as easy. Only difference is Venezuela don't got people to back them up. But And same thing with China and Taiwan. Very small. If China wanted to, they could just snap their fingers and it'll be theirs. Only reason they don't do that, the rules. What you just say, it's crazy that that's allowed. It's not allowed. That literally directly violates international law. He don't give a fuck though. That's what I'm saying. Who's gonna stop? Who's going to just waltz up into the White House and say, "Sir, you're under arrest"? Like, like everything he's doing is literally. And again, it's hard for you to believe that he's literally just saying "fuck the rules," but he is. And the reason why people are even willing to frame it as a question or as, is this allowed? Is he allowed to do that? Is because he's quote unquote the president. It's because, like, and in my opinion, it's because he's Trump specifically. But like I said, it's like they have too much grace and leniency for him. It's, again, he's pissing in your face and you're asking, is it raining? Or is it raining or is he pissing in my face? Like, no, he's pissing. You can read the rules. You can read the law. International law is documented. But people just find it really hard to believe that he would actually just be out here blatantly breaking the law. Like people who have to kind of rationalize it with themselves and justify it. But yeah, that's what it's all the people, all of our allies and all that are kind of backing away from us and joining alliances with other people and seeing the validity and unstableness, I guess you could say, of our decision making, our economy, our leaders, etc. And they're like, let's just go. I think I covered that on one episode. China invited Russia and India over to their country, had a whole big military parade, and literally the context and the reason for the meeting was to show off China as a viable alternative to the United States led world order, right? And that was the scary part about it, because they literally just told you straight up what it is, and it confirmed, one, that yes, there is a world order, and yes, the United States leads it, right? But the idea that now they're telling you, hey, come on and let China do this. Instead of the US dollar being the global currency, let the Chinese, I don't even know what the currency is called over there. The yen. That's what they sell, or that's what their currency is called, yen. Again, they said straight up, and this was a couple months ago. It was right after Trump got in office. They said straight up, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Let's let the world follow the Chinese rules, regulations, and culture and way of life. That's the main thing, because you see, everybody wants to be like America, our way of life, live like us. Like, no, have the world live like China. Have the world behave like us. It will be much more better, much more secure. Like, and I'm not even saying on that cultural aspect that they're wrong. They might not be. They, as far as one another, socially, they behave way better than we do. They have better morals and values, but it's still, culturally, they're they're very lame. Like, nobody really wants to be as buttoned up and tight knit as the Chinese. You know what I mean? But But we might be more efficient in all that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why he's doing it though. He's breaking the law, and they are talking about teaming up. It's very obvious. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to see what he's doing though. But I'm gonna just play the part of them actually going up in there and snatching them real quick, and then we're gonna get to the rest of it.
But that's not it. The U.S. military has another secret weapon. Analysts called it the Iron Dome of the Caribbean. They said the airspace over Venezuela was impenetrable, locked down by the Russian-made S-300 anti-system, a beast capable of swatting aircraft out of the sky from 150 miles away. But in the dark night, the myth of invincibility didn't just crack, it evaporated. The opening salvo didn't come from pilots, but from physics. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford, stationed off the coast, unleashed a barrage of electronic warfare so dense it didn't just jam the Venezuelan radar screens, it burned them white. The S-300 operators at Captain Manuel Rios Air Base were blind before they ever saw the missiles coming. The first kinetic strikes were surgical from a destroyer. 2 Tomahawk cruise missiles slammed into the S-300VM radar arrays. In an instant, the eyes of the Venezuelan defense network were turned into twisted, red-hot scrap metal. Precision-guided bombs walked down the flight line. One by one, the Su-30s and the aging X-16s parked beside them were engulfed in fireballs. 7 jets were erased before their pilots could even reach the ladders. It wasn't a dogfight, it was an execution. But the final blow was psychological. At 4:20, the roar of jet engines shook the windows of downtown Caracas. The target was Fortuna, the headquarters of the Ministry of Defense and the nerve center of the regime's military command. The strikes didn't level the city, they decapitated the leadership's ability to communicate. As smoke billowed from the ministry buildings, the message was clear to every commander on the ground: you are alone. You are alone and that no help is coming. But all of this is just a deception. The main target is none other than the president. We finally have the declassified timeline of how U.S. forces breached the heart of Caracas and extracted Nicolás Maduro. Let's start with step 1. The setup. This didn't happen overnight. For months, the U.S. had been tightening a naval quarantine around Venezuela. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group and the U.S. Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group were parked off the coast. The pretext was clear. The U.S. designated the Venezuelan government a narco-terrorist state, specifically targeting the drugs lords.
But I tell you, for months now, they labeled them a narco-terrorist, that they're moving these narcotics to our country, and it's killing everybody at a terroristic rate. They've been doing this for months now, all setting up for this moment right here.
But while the Navy squeezed the coast, intelligence assets were tracking one man. They waited for a specific window, a moment where Maduro was stationary and vulnerable. Step 2, the strike. It began at exactly 2 in the morning Venezuelan Standard Time. High above, several F-35 stealth fighters punch a hole through the enemy lines, destabilizing their anti-air defenses. Like these Russian S-300 missiles located all over the strategic high-value target. With the skies cleared, the path opens for Delta Force helicopters to fly straight towards the mission. Here comes the deception as the helicopters flew. The jets started firing with more strikes as it hit Fort Tuna, the main military base and command center, and La Carlota Air Base, destabilizing Venezuelan air support. Reports from the ground describe widespread explosions and a sudden communications blackout. The chaos wasn't the goal, it was the cover. But how did the raid happen? We have to look at step 3. Under the cover of darkness and chaos, the Tier 1 operators went to work. But what is the exact unit tasked with the mission? It is the Delta Force, one of the most elite secretive special forces units in the U.S. military. Witnesses in Caracas reported low-flying aircraft skimming the rooftops, flying well below radar coverage. The team breached a secure compound believed to be a safe house within the massive Fort Tuna complex. Resistance from the Venezuelan Presidential Guard was swift but ultimately futile, as the helicopters lay cover fire. The operators moved with surgical speed, landing on multiple points. But how exactly the capture and extraction happened? For this, let's look at step 4. Specialized helicopters hovered over the objective to insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended and started the search for the high-value targets. How did they find him? Simple. The CIA had planted spy inside Nicolás Maduro close circle. While back in the US, Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it blindfolded. While operators breached the room so fast, his security could not even react to the situation as the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard. Using blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors. Maduro's shock and awe froze him as Delta Force breached the compound. Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were physically secured. This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to the extraction point. These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings and refueling in midair. We make original 4K 3D animation with a small team of animators. So please support us.
So that's how it happened, bro. Not now. And again, the fact that he does stuff like that, which allows people to make these animations and videos so we can watch it, is dope. I'm not gonna lie, I like, because seeing our military operate in real life is crazy. But for reasons like this, for these piratistic reasons, you just want to just go and snatch people's belongings and claim it as your own. It's, again, we can't do that. Like, you, if they're moving, and it's crazy, like, you know, when police officially seize ill-gotten goods or illegal contraband, that's what they call it, whether it be drugs, oil, whatever you're moving illegally, yes, they put it in the evidence locker. And then, come on, bro, if we're being real, nobody's really believing that the police are just destroying 100 kilos of cocaine or 20,000 barrels of oil, or y'all are realistically reselling that. And let's just come on, like, because I've seen a show, and that's the first time I ever really thought about it. You honestly think the police are just gonna this $100,000 worth of drugs, this $1 million worth of whatever I got, I'm just gonna destroy it because it's the right thing? No, I'm gonna file it in the evidence locker, and then it's going to walk away, right? So I'm not adverse to him thinking or moving with that ideology, but you can't do it like this, bro. You can't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't work that way. You can't, like, I'm telling you, bro. If I woke him up at the day, he didn't even have time to lock the door. He didn't even have time to lock his bedroom door before niggas is at, and it literally, and they said, this ain't a negotiation, bro. You coming with us. Like, you thought you was safe. No, bro, no. And again, and I'm telling you, bro, but how many other people, if given the opportunity, not even given the opportunity, if they woke up one morning and decided they want to pop up on somebody else, like, surprise, motherfucker, like I'm telling you, it's only really maybe three other countries that have the capability to do that. And that's China, Russia, and Israel. Mossad could do it as well, but they just are very small. Israel compared to Russia and China are just geographically are smaller, but they are very, very, that's, in my opinion, that's why we're such best friends with them. That's kind of why the Israel-Hamas thing went where it went, but that's, again, another story. But I'm telling you, bro, it's scary. The fact that they can and did just do it and open the door for other people to do it is, like I said, bro, you'll just be sitting there asleep in the dead of night, and then motherfuckers is at your bedroom, not even the front door. It's not even like that at your front door. They at your bedroom. They already done got in the house. They already in the house before you can even wake up and lock your bedroom door. Like, bro, it's insane. And again, now, and see, I'm a beast, bro. I'm telling you, I really do this investigative journalism stuff. That's my official title now. You can refer to me as an investigative journalist. I really do this. Now, see how I string these together. We just talked about Maduro and him running up into Venezuela. For what reason? Just because he wanted to, right? He's been talking about Greenland and how for some reason, no, not even for some reason, he claims that for the national security of America, it is imperative that the United States takes control of Greenland. And at one point, he literally said, we can do it the easy way or the hard way. That was his exact words, right? But then he realizing how inflammatory, and when I say realizing how inflammatory it is, when these other nations hear him talk, they don't have a choice but to react because they legitimately don't know when he's bluffing or when he's not. You understand what I'm saying? Only difference between Greenland and Venezuela, Greenland is part of NATO, the North American Treaty Organization. Basically means that these handful of countries, we cool. We stick up for each other. It's literally a rule in that treaty that says one fight, we all fight. If somebody attack one of us, we all in. You know what I mean? And Greenland is a part of that. And they're literally protected by, I can't remember all of them, but it's like, I know it's the UK, a handful of Sweden, a handful of those European countries over there. Okay. And we're one of them as well. So again, Trump shouldn't even be realistically talking like that, because another part of the deal is that if America wants to build more military bases in Greenland, they have all access. You literally, if he wanted to, he could build 4, 5, 6, 7 bases and put as many troops there if he wanted to, if protection is his concern, but it's not. There's ulterior motives there as well, and it's looking like the minerals. Again, same thing with Ukraine, the minerals in the ground over there. It's something over there Trump wants. Pretty plain and simple. But the rest of the world, the UK and all of them are like, bro, if protection is your concern, don't worry, we'll send troops. And that's why I tagged you in that one thing that I tagged you in when it said the UK only sent one guy and another country only sent 2, because and again, funny, like I said, you'd be the one guy to just pull up, but I got y'all, you know what I mean? But no, that's what they were doing. All the countries collectively were sending guys, and the UK only chose to send one, because like I said, I'm not about to spend my money, my country's money, all that. If you actually attack, don't worry, we're going to pull up. But right now, to just show you that we are taking your threat seriously, but not committing all of our resources, I'm going to just send one guy, hey, go over there, make sure everything's all right, report back to us, you know, and if shit gets crazy, then we'll go ahead and send more reinforcements. That's what that post was about, and that's why I tagged you in, because that was funny. But yeah, like I said, all the countries, and I'm gonna get the list of them too, but like I said, it's the UK, Sweden, Switzerland, Finland, it's about 7 or 8 of them, all get banded together and sent a handful of troops to Greenland The first part was to show Trump, like I said, we obviously can protect. You knew it wasn't about protection, bro. But if you claim that's your concern, look, we got plenty of troops to handle the job. The second one was, if you do think you're going to decide to invade Greenland and take it by force, that's not going to happen. We're going to fight back. They even went so far as to acknowledge the U.S. is very much bigger than us and stronger than us, but we're going to fight regardless. We don't want to be a part of the U.S. We don't like y'all. We don't like y'all culture. We appreciate y'all as allies. Don't want to say we don't like y'all. We appreciate y'all as allies and the help y'all do. But as far as, again, y'all way of life, people, the rest of the world really have a problem with our way of life over here. I'm starting to see that now. But they don't want nothing to do with us. They want us to stay over here. So again, the dudes made it clear. Whatever you think is going on is not going to happen. We got plenty of protection. If you think you about to run up in here, that is not going down like that. And the rest of the country, like I said, the rest of the country's saying the same thing, sending their own troops, their people. Because you know it's serious when I'm sending my person or somebody from my country could potentially die, right? This ain't happening, Trump. You get away with it with Venezuela because there's nobody to back them up. We got backup over here. So it's whatever you want to do. If you think you about to run up in here, it's not gonna happen. Greenland, it's not about to go down like that.
President Trump standing before the world and putting it on notice. He's not backing off at all in terms of his ambition to take control of Greenland, but says it will be through negotiation.
And just minutes ago, he wrapped up his much-anticipated speech at the World Economic Forum. He delivered his clearest statement yet that he will not use military force to seize the Danish territory, but reiterated his desire to take over Greenland. He also slammed the NATO military alliance and American allies, calling his demand for Greenland a, quote, small ask.
We never asked for anything. And we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland.
We're covering all the angles of this very...
Yeah, that's all I wanted to play because you see, he made it. And again, the previous statements he made were definitely flirting with military. Two things he said that were literally directly saying he would use it. One of them, he was like, military force is not off the table. And then the other one he said was, we can do it the easy way or the hard way. But then, like I said, seeing them literally put boots on the ground, he was okay. Maybe realize I won't use force. And then, like I said, but you see, he clearly wanted to because he's like, yo, everybody's relaxed because everybody thought I would use force. And you know what I mean? But again, like I said, we're just, and he's really not, bro. We're just, it's like when the police show up and ask to talk to you. They're not asking, bro. What are you talking like? Exactly. They are not asking. Oh my God. All right, I got Bro D. Bro. This is another one that is just getting batshit crazy. I'm talking about the dog. Okay, so you pretty much know the backstory on the Epstein shit. I ain't got to give you the rundown again. Like a bunch of rich guys hanging out on a private island with a bunch of little girls doing whatever it is that they do, right? Trump's name literally is in the files over 3,000 times. Now, there's multiple allegations of young girls claiming that he them and you know what I mean, that the allegations are there, but the actual factual proof is not there. So you got to be careful when you start throwing stuff on people's names and all that. There's no evidence in the files or no direct proof that he actually did anything with any young girls. No evidence that they haven't redacted, because I don't know if you've seen that I covered last time. They released pages of documents that are literally completely blacked out. It's a full black page after getting told by the government implicitly not to do that. That there was only two rules: release all of them and unredacted. The only parts that should be blacked out are the victims' names and faces. It's not obviously it's not rocket science, right? It's not a hard thing to comply with, right? They said, sure, we got you. And then the day came around and again, full pages blacked out, names blacked out. And they did the same thing this time, right? That was the first batch they just released, right? They just did, not even Bush and JB, 3 million more documents that they just released. And again, did the same thing. A bunch of redactions, a bunch of names. Email, one of them was like, your favorite little girl was fun last night. And the only thing that's blacked out is the dude's name, whoever sent it. Why? What are y'all? And y'all will sit here and look us in our faces and say, there's no cover up. We're not protecting anyone. What the fuck do you mean? You like I said, bro, you can only piss in my face so many times and tell me that it's raining. It's not like, bro, but what I say is one of the rich guys that got caught up in this was Prince Andrew. Andrew is fucked, man. This is the most crazy. Like when you ask yourself or when you speculate about the type of shit that you would see in these creepy behind closed doors rich guys, this is it, bro. Now imagine being one of the princes of England, bro. One of the goddamn fucking Prince Andrew. Literally just last year, a couple months ago, it ain't been a whole year since it's passed, but it's been 2025. They renounced his princeness, his status as a prince. They took it away from him. Because they knew this was about to happen. They knew, again, this whole Epstein shit been bubbling for the past, you know what I mean? They knew this was about to happen. They said, bruh, we ain't doing that with you. You gonna have to get all out of here. The royal family is not associating with you. And you're about to see why. Once this picture came out, it made it obvious why they did what they did. This shit is crazy, bro. Watch this. Watch this.
Outrage growing as new details emerge from the millions of newly released Justice Department records on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They include Epstein's messages with powerful men. In these messages from 2013, the convicted sex offender connecting New York Giants co-owner Steve Tisch.
Bro, the co-owner of the New York Giants. I got to see when I'm going. Yeah, 105. I just the co-owner of the fucking New York Giants, bro. Again, when I say the highest of the high people are in these files, it's really like that. It's really like that.
With various women. In one exchange, Tisch asked about a woman writing pro or civilian. In a statement, Tisch acknowledging a brief association where we exchanged emails about adult women, but saying I did not take him up on any of his invitations and never went to his island. As we all know now, he was a terrible person and someone I deeply regret associating with. And amongst the thousands of photos, these never-before-seen images of former Prince Andrew, who was stripped of his royal titles last year over his relationship with Epstein. Now seen here, crowd.
Bro, what the fuck is this? What the Andrew? What the fuck? What could you possibly say to make this make sense? What type of context or explanation could you add to this picture to make this not look as insane as it obviously is? Like what the bro? There's literally another video of Epstein. I can't make this up. Chasing little girls or kids around, I'm sure they were female, around a kitchen. Like it's crazy. Like it literally is just as creepy, as wild as you could imagine it to be. Like the goddamn former Prince of England. What the again, like I said, what could you possibly be doing here? What context could make this make sense? Like
over a young woman, her face redacted, the date and context of the interaction unclear. Representatives for Andrew have not responded to a request for comment. Now, even UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is calling for Andrew to testify, saying, I have always said anybody who has got information should be prepared to share that information in whatever form they are asked to do that. And
yeah, and then they just keep going, bro. It's really insane. It's insane, and it's only gonna. And it is obvious that is exactly what they were doing. They were protecting Trump. He is in there, and it's a couple of them where, like I said, there's straight up allegations saying he raped me and he did this and that, but there's been no hard evidence or proof to prove that. But just the allegations alone. And now one thing that did come out that was factual: him and Epstein were on a plane. They took a trip to wherever with a 20-year-old girl on the plane. It was literally just Trump, Epstein, and a 20-year-old girl. That's the facts. Now, what they did on the plane, obviously, only they know. And where they went to, where they were coming from, obviously, only they know. But the flight log from the time of departure to time of land only had them 3 passengers on it. You know what I mean? So, like I said, that's what they've been hiding. That's what they've been covering up. They know this got them looking crazy, obviously. And they trying to mitigate in any way, shape, or form. And it's going to keep going. Like I said, that's only half the documents, too. They still got 3 million more that they're supposed to release. They might not even release them, though. And even if they don't, like I said, these ones that they released were so heavily redacted that it's like, you know, there were not any great revelation. I swear, bro, in 4K, bro, if a smile, like you, and you can't even begin to make that make sense. And it's like he got away with it for so long, but he didn't get away with it. Like, and it makes you wonder how much other stuff have people actually got away with. Like, this is just one case. This is just one Jeffrey, and it's a rather large one. But again, how much stuff has happened behind closed doors and in the dark that just, again, people got away with. But that he got caught, bro, red-handed, straight, and then looking just as guilty as a child do with his hand in the cookie jar, bro. Shit's crazy. But that's it for this episode. I definitely, hold on. Since you here, JB, hold on. I'm gonna stop recording real quick.